All right. Well, this is going to be my first attempt at just kind of recording myself as I work on some of my projects. I'm doing a lot of typing stuff, a lot of stuff I could do while I'm sitting down. So I do a lot of sitting down, especially when I'm stuck at home. So right now the project I'm working on, calling it Brainstorm 1, so I wasn't really sure what to call it when I first started it. But it has a few different projects in it. So I've already started it. My plan is to create a sort of living document out of this where I just sort of add to it and build upon it as I go. So, because that's always how I've done things. I've never really cared to do things like rough draft edits, all that stuff. That's never made sense to me because it's not really a natural process for me. I like to do everything kind of as I go. So so I guess I'll just kind of browse through this and describe what I've done so far. So right now, my main projects, there's the Bible project. I've kind of discovered a spiritual side of myself over the last couple of years while, breaking bad habits and building up better habits and trying to move forward. Oh, hold on. And so I think it's time to start reading some of these things, especially as a scientist. That's what I went to school for. I should be open to at least understanding the ideas that other people think about. So the Bible has been around for a very long time, even if it is, or at least from my own experience, it seems to be used as sort of a propaganda piece. It doesn't have to be. A lot of basically what I've read so far, I can relate to simply because I've had experiences that just are similar. The one that hit me the first time reading through Exodus was when Pharaoh wouldn't let the Israelites go worship Jehovah. Jehovah is God. I have been reading the Jehovah's Witnesses version of the Bible, the New World Translation, and it uses Jehovah in place of God, which so that's how I connect that dot. But Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he remained obstinate to all the different, I guess, crazy things that were happening around with the locusts and the hail that was killing livestock and people, and all of that. And so that's what I was basically going through when my kidneys first failed. They didn't just fail. Like, it was a long-term process, and I was observant to the changes that kept getting worse and worse. So that's how I'm reading it. So, but basically the idea is I want to kind of create a holistic way of reading it. And reading doesn't have to be done with just the eyes. The eyes, yeah, that's how I'm able to come up with the images, produce the sounds, and all of that stuff. But there are other ways to remember things and to experience. And so I want to do, right now, I have it set to do a 3-pronged kind of way of doing the Bible. So I'm going to read it out loud, which I've been recording already. I think I'm 3/4 of the way through Numbers. And then I'm typing it out. And I think I'm in Leviticus on that one. And then I want to exercise to the Bible where I've set 1 verse equals 1 rep. And so my goal is to just do various exercises equal to the number of verses of each chapter, and then do that throughout the whole Bible. And then that's the end of the sort of introduction to the Bible. And then I'll start branching off and creating new kind of sub projects that build upon the previous projects. That's basically what all science is. All modern science is experiments derived from ideas of the past. So that's kind of how I'm doing it now. So I'm just exposing myself to several different senses. So with audio, video, since I'll be speaking it, I'll be creating the sound. The sound is a full body experience. All of the cells on my skin and all of that experience that sound. And I can actually, when I am in a deeper focus, I can actually feel my body vibrate as I speak, which makes sense because that's all speaking is you're making sound vibrations with your vocal cords. So, um, so that's sort of a full body exposure, and then with typing, it's a tactile exposure. It's specific areas of the body are going to be experiencing the words basically. So, and then I find that's what's actually fun is I'm able to watch. I'm usually able to watch TV, or I'm able to uh, listen to music while I'm doing that, and so it feels like I'm multitasking, and I feel like I'm getting a lot done when I'm doing it that way. And then with the exercise to the Bible, that's in a way I'm using the Bible, at least just the order for now. Maybe I can turn the actual reading into a sort of workout, um, like combining reading out loud with exercise or something. But by doing that, I'm exposing myself to the Bible and uh, a higher energy state, I guess. If that makes sense, because I require more oxygen when I'm working out and all that. I feel the burn and all that. So that's the Bible project. And so let's go ahead and go down to that. So this is the outline that I have set up. I plan on transcribing the whole thing. Translation, transcription. And this is why it's a living document, because I'm updating it as I see fit, basically. So, and I'm using the indent feature of the Word document in order to segregate the different stages. So, like the book will be under the number, the Roman, or the not Roman numeral, the, what would you call that? Arabic numeral 1, and then I do a double indent, and then that's the chapters. But I changed it up a bit with one of my other projects, so I'll get into that later. But so chapter 1 all the way to 50, then Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms. Oh, that's a long one. Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah. What's really cool too is this is also a cool way to learn Roman numerals, because I don't really know how to count past, I think, 30 or 40. Yeah, there's 30. Yeah, when it gets to 40, it's XL. So yeah, I didn't know um, that's how to count that far. So I could only do uh, ones, fives, or basically 1 through 30 is all or 1 through 39 was all I could do. But so then Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, sorry, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, First Corinthians, Second Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, First Thessalonians, Second Thessalonians, First Timothy, Second Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Hebrews, James, First Peter, Second Peter, First John, Second John, Third John, Jude, Revelation. And I know I'm going to mispronounce a lot of stuff going through all of this. That's fine. I don't believe in I don't care about pronunciation as much as meaning. So, like, what I intend is what I mean, what's in my head. So if I don't pronounce it right, I really don't care. I will care once I start learning languages, because that's important, because in other, like, I don't know, based on how I grew up, pronunciation wasn't super important. So, all right, next project. It's going to be the same project, but with the dictionary. So I plan on reading it out loud. I plan on reading it through a typed transcription, and then I plan on exercising it. And one wad, one word. So I'll exercise one word equals one rep. So the goal is, once I go through the whole dictionary, I will have done like 100,000 reps, or however many words are in the dictionary. So the third project I haven't really gotten to yet, because I still don't really know how I want to do it. I think I'm just going to eat stuff first, write down what I'm eating, and then I'll do some research into the different foods that I decide to eat on a consistent basis. So today for breakfast, I did just the microwavable bacon, turkey bacon, on English muffins. That was actually pretty satisfying. So that actually might be something I eat a regular amount of. I want to start using my toaster oven and making like my baseline meal planning off of that. So at some point today, I think I'll go ahead and do a basic meal plan. I'll write down like a list of various foods. I'll be specific. I'll limit myself to, if I want meat, I'll only eat meat that I buy at the local meat market, because the quality is just out of this world. It's so much better than the grocery store. Because the problem with the grocery store is just the way they manufacture the meat. I just don't care for it, and I think a lot of the problems of it pass on to me as I digest it and absorb like the nutrition and stuff. So it just, when I eat that meat, it's just so much better. So and then maybe limit my vegetables to, there's a local farm that sells fresh produce. I could do that, or I could stick to like frozen produce, because frozen produce is all right from what I've read so far. But and then eventually, I'd like to look more into the different cooking methods. I have an intuitive way of describing them, but I'd like to do a little bit more formal research into that. And then I'd like to start a long-term budget cooking project where I limit my food intake by amounts spent. So maybe like $10 a day or something like that. See if I can get down to a cheap amount. So that's going to probably be my later project, because I know what I need to be eating. And I think if I start doing this more often, this screen recording while working on just typing stuff, I think that'll help a lot. And I think what I'll do is I won't talk a crazy amount. Like right now, I'm just kind of verbalizing some of this stuff, so that way it kind of it's not like setting it in stone, but it's like kind of projecting the idea in my head, so that way when I come back to it, it's just I can get right into it. But all right, and then I have the next project. This is going to be a long-term project. I don't know how long, but this first part is just to get me, I guess, feeling ready. Once I've completed this, then I think that'll unlock. So I want. God, I have so many different things I want to talk about. So a lot of the goals, the way I set goals, is I have the long-term goal, which is like the end of a movie or the end of a video game. That's the thing that you work towards. Um, and so I use a lot of small goals in order to work up towards that big goal. And I want to go back to graduate school now that I am able to sit down and study for hours at a time, and I can stop doing what I'm doing if I need to do something more important. I'm just incredibly focused. So, but I'd like to have a little bit of a portfolio started of all the different things that I've been working on. And that's why I'm recording stuff for the most part. So that way I can use that as part of my resume, my CV. This is what I did in my spare time when after I left school to get my health in order. So it's called the Re-Education Project. I realized that I went to school and I was exposed to a lot of different information. And so the information's already part of me, but it's time to actually go back over it and like formally. My plan is I'm just going to read textbooks to start. And then once I've read these textbooks, then I can build my own lectures, like summarized lectures on that. And then once I have a lecture series set up, then I can feel ready to go back to school. So I found a open source application that I have downloaded on all of my devices called OpenStax. Basically, it has a bunch of textbooks, and a textbook is essentially just a summarized compilation of all the research that went into these different ideas. And I never thought of it that way before, but by thinking of it that way, then it makes it easier to branch off into other ideas or to do my own experiments to see if I can demonstrate some of these ideas or to demonstrate how accurate and precise the ideas are compared to each other. So I had an idea a couple years ago. Once I first started this freelance sort of mentality, it'd be really cool to see if I could find equipment and to put together my own makeshift instruments to do measurements for different experiment ideas that I have. So that'd be really cool to have like my own NMR or like my own IR, and then just kind of. Because the reason I came up with that idea is working at a semiconductor company. One of my coworkers, one of the engineers, in order to save the company money and to bolster to like improve production capacity, he would go on eBay and buy parts and that were either broken or were incomplete, like they had like missing bits and stuff, and then he would basically jerry rig these machines together that would then do the different processes that they were supposed to do, and it's really interesting. But I mean, you save a whole bunch of money doing it that way, and it wouldn't even need anything expensive. I've worked with really expensive equipment, mass spectrometers costing like $5 to $10 million. and then they have to use a crane to lower it in. Like that's just crazy to me. So I don't need that. I just need something that is able to, you know, measure the same effect, the same, I guess, effect, but it doesn't need to be as precise because that's all the expensive machines are. Is they're like hyperly fine tuned in order to detect really fine changes in the structures of whatever they're measuring. Ugh. Sorry, stretching. So with OpenStax, I have a few different subjects. I'll just go ahead and head down to that. It's right after the Bible project and the dictionary project. So the dictionary project, I wasn't really sure how to set it up, but I think what I'll do is, so I have 26 sections, and then I'll hit the Roman numeral, and then from there I'll just maybe that's how I'll start typing the words in, and I'll just do like apple, noun, um, no, I was going to try to draw an apple with the text, but and so on, blah 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 blah. But I'll just do a quick little. I'll also include like the pronunciation symbols and stuff. Common usage. Actually, no, this is a transcription. Duh. Sorry. Yeah, no, this is. It's all going to be transcribed. So that's right. I forgot about that. The outline comes after the transcription. So once I've copied the whole thing, then I feel comfortable doing that. So here's the OpenStax project. So each section will be a book, and then you have the chapters. So this one I outlined a little differently. So the Roman numerals don't actually line up with the chapter numbers like they did with the Bible, where chapter 1 was the Roman numeral 1. So in this time, this is not the same. So I'd like to have all the chapter introductions in one section, all of the key terms in the whole book in one section, and all the key concepts and summaries in one section, all the self-check questions in one section, all the review questions in one section, all the critical thinking questions in one section, and then all the problems in one section. And that'll be before I like, because that's how I like to visualize why I'm going to do something. Like the order of textbooks is nice because it gets right into the information. But for me, I want to know why I'm reading this book, and by having the brief introduction that's sort of like a hook. So when writing a fiction novel, like if I were to write a fiction novel, I would want to hook whoever I'm reading. And there are different ways to do that. Some people use visualization. Some people will use like punctuation, the exclamation point. But for me, I like to know why. Why makes sense. I'm going to read this book because I'm going to be able to answer these questions with the information. And then here's a little bit of an introduction to that information. The key takeaways from that information. Everything else is filler. And then I'm going to read the filler because that's the story. So I guess I'll go ahead and just read through what I've written so far. So chapter 1, welcome to economics. 1, what is economics and why is it important? 2, microeconomics and macroeconomics. 3, how economists use. I don't want to do that. That's going to take too long. That's going to be at least like an hour of talking. And that's not even my own words. I don't like that. That's not what this should be about. So, So I typed all of this out. No, I don't copy paste. I typed it out because that's just what I do. So eventually, once I get to where I catch up to this and I'm able to just work on it, I probably won't talk so much. I'll only say what I'm going to type in, and then I'll type it in, and then that way I can also watch my show and kind of keep that habit going. But so all of those chapters. Then there's Introduction to Business, Introduction to Philosophy, U.S. History, World History, Volume 1, World History, Volume 2, Algebra Trig, Calculus V1, Calculus V2, Calculus V3, Introductory Statistics, Anatomy and Physiology, and then there's Biology. Oh, yeah, so the way I did this is you have the Arabic numerals at the far left side of the page, so position matters. That's going to be the book. And then the Roman numeral indent will be the chapter number, and then indented once with the Arabic numerals again will be the section numbers of that chapter. And so the way it's organized just looks really pretty. I really like how this is organized. All right, so yeah, biology, astronomy, chemistry, university physics, volumes 1 through 3, and then American government, introduction to anthropology, introduction to political science, introduction to sociology, and then psychology. So basically the way this is going to work is as I decide to work on a different chapter or in any book I decide to work on. So maybe I'll start out just by doing it linearly, just in order. So I'll start out, I'll do a chapter. So I'll do a chapter of economics. So I'm just going to start out with just the chapters for now, because that's just the easy part. Because I can do that quick. But what's it called? I'll do however many chapters I feel like doing in that book, and then I'll switch to the next book. So economics first. Oh, no, that sounds boring. I'll just do it in whatever order I decide to do it. I don't like giving myself arbitrary limitations because there's really no meaning behind it. So whatever I feel like doing, I'll do it. Yeah, back up. And then at some point, I'll need to do a forecast where I go from each of these textbooks and then I come up with the next possible courses to do. Or I could take notes. That's another thing I could do too. But I think that's going to be a different project. So Brainstorm 1 is just like it's sort of like an exposure to these ideas. It's not really so much trying to grasp them completely. That's going to be the second project. And then my next project is going to be the Wikipedia philosophy project. And then as you see, the live stream project. So basically this is just streaming. I don't want to I don't want to do a lot of editing right now. I'd like to do just a lot of content creation, just sort of as I go. And then if I want to, I can start editing later. But right now, the goal is to just sort of expose. So exposure doesn't take a lot of effort, um, and so I don't want to put a lot of effort into editing when right now this is sort of the rough draft of a lot of the future stuff I want to work on. So maybe this will just be live stream project. So let's do, instead of these three, delayed live stream. So delayed live stream, that sounds like an oxymoron or a contradiction, but basically I'm streaming it live as I'm recording it, but I'm not uploading it live as I'm recording it. So again, it requires a middleman basically. It needs an extra step, and then live stream. So let's go down to the Wikipedia philosophy project. Um, again, this is just to gain some exposure. Here we go. So on Wikipedia, I found a list of philosophy based on time period before the 1900s, and then contemporary philosophy divided into different subfields. Critical theory and Marxism, phenomenology and existentialism. So different things like that. So what I've typed is just the transcription of that. I've typed the title of the reading, and then with a semicolon, I've separated the author, the original author. What I'm going to be reading is not directly from the original author, because obviously it's going to be different languages and stuff. I just want to be exposed to the ideas, and usually with translations, the general ideas is there still. It sometimes requires reading between the lines, because people back then didn't quite think the same way as we do today, because obviously they had different language rules and different ideas and stuff, and a different way of living, different technologies, and so on. So, but my goal is to just kind of go through these in order of time period first, because it seems the ideas were a lot more vague and generalized back then, and things are a lot more specialized and specific now. So, and I think more holistically. I try to think from whole big picture. So, but we have the ancient philosophers. You got some medieval philosophers. You got some early moderns. So that's like like 1500 up to 1700s. 19th century, yeah, so that's the 1800s. And then some Indian philosophy, some Chinese philosophy, some Japanese philosophy, because they had Western separated. And then contemporary, it's going to be logic and philosophy of logic, philosophy of language, epistemology, metaphysics, philosophy of mind, philosophy of religion, mathematics, science, some specialized science, economics, ethics, identity, education, political philosophy, and then 4 of those things, and then some Eastern stuff that they separated. But it's basically just a transcription of the Wikipedia page, simplified in how I have it built. So, yeah, I just want to read through that. So what I'll probably do is set myself. I'd like to see how long it's going to take me to do these things. I can read a Bible book in a day, but some of these longer Bible books, I prefer to do it in at least 2 or 3 days. So I think my plan. Let's go ahead and write some times. Let's do Genesis. Let's just say 1 to 3 days. Let's do a minimum and maximum. 1 day, 1 to 3 day. So I'll have the quantity and then the unit separated with a semicolon. Exodus is 40 chapters, so 1 to 2 days. Oops. 1 to 2 day. Okay. Leviticus, 27 chapters. Let's just say 1 day. 1 1 to 2 day. Numbers 36. Say 1 to 2. 1 to 2 day. Okay. Deuteronomy 1 to 2. Okay. Joshua 1 to 2 day. Judges 1 to 2 day. Oops. Ruth 1 day. First Samuel 1 to 2. Second Samuel 1 to 2. First Kings 1 to 2. Second Kings 1 to 2. First Chronicles 1 to 2. Second Chronicles 1 to 2. Ezra 1 day. Nehemiah 1 day. Oops. Esther 1 day. Job 1 to 3 days. Psalms 1 to 5 days. It's 150 chapters. Proverbs, let's say 1 to 2 day. Oops. Ecclesiastes 1 day. Song of Solomon 1 day. Isaiah 6. 1 to 3 days. Jeremiah, 4 days. No, 3, sorry. Lamentations, 1 day. Ezekiel, 2 days. Daniel, 1 day. Hosea, 1 day. Joel, 1 day. Amos, 1 day. Obadiah, 1 day. Jonah, 1 day. Micah, 1 day. Nahum, 1 day. Habakkuk, 1 day. Zephaniah, 1 day. Dang it. Haggai, 1 day. One day for Zechariah. 1 day for Malachi. 2 days for 1 to 2 days. Ouch. 1 to 2 days. This is for audio, video. I'll need to go back through it for the typed transcriptions. Actually, that'll do for. Yeah, I can make that work. Okay. Luke, 1 to 2 days. Oh, that's actually going to look really pretty too. So all of these section headings, even the Roman numeral ones, they will only be descriptive section or like segments. So only descriptive identifiers. So like number of days it'll take. So when I get into the number of days it'll take to type out different things, I'll put the identifier where it needs to go. Okay, John, 1 to 2 days. Acts, 1 to 2 days. Romans, 1 day. It's hard to punctuate like that. 1 Corinthians, 1 day. 2 Corinthians, 1 day. Galatians, 1 day. Ephesians, 1 day. Philippians, 1 day. Colossians, 1 day. For 1 Thessalonians, 1 day. 2 Thessalonians, 1 Timothy, 1 day. 2 Timothy, 1 day. Titus, 1 day. Philemon, 1 day. Hebrews, 1 day. James, 1 day. 1 Peter, 1 day. 2 Peter, 1 day. 1 John, 1 day. 2 John, 1 day. 3 John, 1 day. Jude, 1 day. And then Revelation, 1 to 2. Okay, so how many days is that? 1 to 3. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66. 66 days. Totals. 66, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Actually, no, 66. 67. 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97. Okay? To 97. 97 days. Audio, video. All right. So, dictionary project will just be 7 pages for one day. And my dictionary. So it's the Webster's New World Dictionary with Student Handbook. It's got some extra stuff in it. It's kind of cool. It was written Oop. The Student Handbook was 1974. And this guy, yes, looks like 74. I think 7 pages a day is a good goal. That's audio video. And then the OpenStax project, I'd like to do one to three chapters for one day. That's just verbal. The transcriptions will take longer. Actually, that's how I'll plan it. Okay. Yeah, okay. Today's 28th. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take a break. So I'm going to stop recording, get this uploaded, and then we'll call it good.